Well, good evening, everyone, and good evening to you, Oves. I'm so sorry Mark and I can't be there with you tonight. I know it's a very special evening for you, and if there was any way we could have been there with you, we would be. But first off, we just want to really congratulate you for getting into the Hall of Fame. Mark and I have known you for so many years, and actually we're quite
too long.
We're actually quite surprised that after all your wonderful behavior on the golf course over the years, that you actually got into the Hall of Fame. But you know, I remember the first time you and I met when you decided to, when you came and stayed with me, and one of the gals at the junior golf tournament said we had a young guy coming from Bulawayo, and I was 10 at the time, and I asked her, I said, how old is this guy? And she said, no, he's 11, which made a huge difference in those days, you know. And when we got to the airport to pick you up, you're about half a head shorter than I was, and I looked down at you and I said, are you 11? And you looked up at me and got in my face and said, yes. And from that day onwards, you know, we just knew you were a very tenacious guy, and I don't know, it's very hard to put into words how much you've achieved. I can remember the naysayers when you turned pro saying that you had no chance and that you were going to be back looking for a job after a year or two, and you proved them all wrong, but you did a phenomenal job. And you know, we've been fortunate, Mark and I, to be in your teammate on so many events. Eight occasions in the Dunhill Cup.
And TJ, it was 8 occasions at the World Cup. And boy, did we have some fun at the World Cup as well. I have some wonderful stories for you guys coming up very shortly.
Yeah. But anyway, congrats again, Tony. And again, I'm sorry that we couldn't be there with you, but really enjoy the evening, and I'll have a beer for you.
Now, as Nick drives away, TJ, I just wanted to really come a little bit more serious note and say that, you know, with your 17 wins on the South African tour and obviously your 6 wins in Europe, that a fantastic career you had. But for me, and I think for all golfers, your Volvo PGA Championships at Wentworth in 1992 was definitely your highlight. And you really, for years after that, held that in right close to your heart. And I'm sure as you're sitting there now, that's one victory that really stands out high in your repertoire of victories. But let me get back to a couple of stories now. In the World Cup, do you remember in China, we had a nice practice round, and we got to this one hole, I think it was about the 4th or 5th hole, and we both agreed that the one place we mustn't miss this green was long right. Well, what did you do? You missed it long right on the 2nd round. Well, I was sort of biting my lips and wondering what the hell you were going to do. And you proceeded to fluff the first chip, fluff the second chip, hit the third chip down onto the green, onto the front edge. You then hit a tremendous putt that stopped about 2 inches short of the cup, went up to it and gave it a complete whiff over the top of the ball. Well, needless to say, at 8, I was very, very happy. Yeah. But the funny part about this was that when we walked to the next tee, you were off like a wounded buffalo. And I can remember I'm trying to catch you up, and eventually I get pretty close to you, and you stopped in your tracks and you said, don't say a word. And needless to say, I just roared with laughter, but you didn't enjoy that one little bit. But in all sincerity, TJ, once again, many congrats from Nick and I here in Houston. Sunny day here in Houston. Congrats again on getting to the Southern African Hall of Fame.